r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What job do you have insane respect for, but you'd never personally do? The guys that pump out the porta potties on construction sites. Holy fudge, do I have respect for them, but you couldn't pay me enough to do that job. I mean, I'd do it for $500,000 per year. Maybe. Paramedics. My dad is one and he has told me that it sucks. Paramedics have a horrible schedule. Sometimes he is at work for 1.5 days, and you never know when he leaves or comes back. Also, he is always tired and sleeps in if he has a day off. They have to work overtime almost every time they are at work. Sometimes for 2 extra hours. They don't get paid enough. Sure, they get paid more than average, but they save lives and have a terrible schedule. He told me that if I want to be in the medical field and want to get good money, I should become a doctor. His boss sucks. I respect them so much, but they still don't get treated equally considering on their pay. AKA the only thing that keeps them doing the job. Anything medical. Was going to say nursing, but this covers it. Pee, poop, snot, mucus, vomit, no thanks. Mad respect for the nurses that actually enjoy working on the painful boil that grew on my ass and had to be lanced, drained, and treated several times. I'm a grown man and could never do that job. I'm glad there are those that can. I'd like to add abuse to your list of job perks for nurses. 911 operator. A friend is doing research, PhD, on 911 operator trauma. I understand why most want to retire in the wilderness away from everyone. Garbage collectors and waste management. Imagine how would be our cities without it. No need to imagine. Just look at the pictures from the recent strike in Edinburgh. Rescue diving. Pretty much anything underwater in the ocean. The unknown down below scares me. Hospice. My mom used to go sit with people who didn't have anyone. She just did it because she's a good egg. People who have to watch CP for evidence against the suspects. Apparently they don't last long, like a couple months. The pay is good, but many end up with mental trauma. A good friend of mine did that, child sex crimes investigator, for 6 years with the Houston Police Department. Messed him up and he only kept doing it because he felt someone had to and he was good at it. He eventually had to leave the division, but luckily got to be a patrol officer in a quiet suburb near his home. I have nothing but mad respect for that man. Psych ward nursing. Teacher or instructor of any sort. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, I genuinely feel teachers have a calling to it and have the patience of saints, but are drastically underpaid, undersupported, persecuted by the public for things they don't understand. Here in the USA, anyway, and I fear for their safety. The other side of it is all me. I've worked with young children in a college work-study program and it is definitely not for me. I also hate speaking in front of groups, even small crowds. I am far better as support staff or one-on-one instruction than I ever would be in a classroom. I'm glad and grateful those that can do it. I simply could not. I ended up going into allied health, doing work for patients behind the scenes. Edited, merging my previous comment. Minor content shuffling for clarity. Social workers. Hell yes, social workers, and not just because they are underpaid and underappreciated. Domestic violence spiked during COVID. Social workers had to deal with the aftermath. And then 120,000 American children were orphaned in 15 months due to COVID, according to the LA Times. Social workers had to deal with the aftermath. When social workers realized they could avoid the stress and earn a much better wage as user experience designers, there will be nothing stopping the knock-on effects from all that COVID trauma, and society will fall apart even more. People in animal care. It's a brutal profession with some of the highest suicide rates, since the people who choose the profession do so because they are deeply empathetic, and then see animals in distress all day. I work in animal care and you're right. Underwater welding. Sanitation. I'm a paramedic and they're my heroes. Don't have your trash taken out for a month and you'll realize quickly how essential to society they are. I'd say there is an argument that trash collection is the most essential thing for a functional society to have. People who work on long-term care or hospice care. That is a hard-off, a thankless job that can really wear on your soul. The people who do it deserve way more than they get for doing it. Teacher. 2 of my friends do it, and they spend hours every weekend creating lesson plans and grading assignments. Unpaid. When I leave work, that's it, I am done until Monday. Most any job dealing with customers or the general public. Talking to people you don't know all the time, every day. I couldn't handle it. Firefighting. Those folks have balls of steel going into areas with bugger all visibility, wearing heavy clothing and BA kit, dragging along hoses and other kit, not knowing what they are heading to and how structurally safe the place is. Seeing and dealing with all sorts of stuff. Screw that. Therapists. I mean, like, really, I respect them because they are kind enough to listen to all of our problems, but I have enough problems of my own to listen to other people. Morticians. Embalmers. Plumbers. When thinking about plumbers, everyone immediately goes to poop. Think about it for a moment and you'll see that most of the job is nothing like that. Basic tasks include installing or replacing fixtures such as faucets or leaking showers. Intermediate tasks include building new systems with brand new pipe into places that have never seen water or waste. Advanced tasks would be lining pipes or sealing cast iron pipes. None of this involves sewage. Even as far as sewage work goes, you produce 100 gallons of grey water, that is shower, sinks, for each gallon of black water, that is toilet. On the other hand, the pay is pretty good and it is fairly easy to be self-employed. You get to go home at the end of the day with nothing hanging over you unless you want to open yourself up to emergency calls. It's also satisfying to fix real-world problems that normal people face. Police officer. I know that Reddit hates cops, but they have a tough job and I, for the most part, appreciate what they do for our society. Screw those that are against cops, they are the same pussies that call the cops at the slightest feeling of endangerment. Imagine dealing with dongheads every day, coping with PTSD, and since George Floyd all the disrespect towards them that ensued. It's not a job I'd be willing to undertake, but it needs doing. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.